What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Hope all of you are having a great day so far. Yeah. Anyway, today's episode of General Hospital. It's pretty boring episode today, if you ask me. I didn't like today's episode like that. I think it was pretty dull. Where do I start? Anyway, Alexis is having some big brunch or whatever, some big breakfast for a goodbye breakfast for Rafe, so to speak. Even though I really don't care. So she's having some goodbye breakfast for Rafe, and Molly is still moping around the house because Rafe is leaving and she's upset about it. Mind you, she hasn't mentioned TJ. So Alexis tells her that Sam, Lucy Co, Danny, they're all gonna come over. So Rafe comes over. Then Sam and Danny shows up, and Alexis has pancakes that she ordered from the Waffle Cottage. So, you know, Sam and Danny come over. Today, Danny starts his chemotherapy. Silas Clay comes over. I'm just sorry, but this is just a boring episode. I'm just dragging this because it's so boring. Yeah, Silas Clay comes over and he's ready to take Rafe home early. And they're trying to stop him. You know, Alexis tells him that he has an hour. So, you know, Silas tells them, you know, go ahead, have breakfast for an hour. After that, he's taking him. So Lucy Cole shows up. She's upset that Silas is there or whatever. So Silas thinks that everybody should thank him for helping Danny or whatever. And he asks how Danny's doing. Sam tells him that he starts chemo today. And she is being very sarcastic with Silas, telling everybody to give him a round of applause for examining Danny and diagnosing him in 5 seconds. So Sam leaves because she has to get to the hospital. Lucy Co tells Molly and Rafe to go outside and talk while she talks to Silas Clay. Molly and Rafe go outside. She gives him, I guess, a copy of her book or whatever. And they're talking, and Lucy Co tells Silas that he's not a human being because he's willing to take Rafe away from a home that, you know, he never had, because he never had a home before, and Silas is pretty much taking him away. And Silas tells Rafe, let's go, and they leave, thank God. So Lucy and Molly are sitting in a chair with their heads up against each other, wondering why Silas took them and blah, blah, blah. And Molly gets a knock at the door. It's Rafe. He's back. He says Silas Clay must have changed his mind and dropped him off, which we all knew was going to happen. They did not bring Michael Easton back to the show just to let him leave that quickly, so we all knew he was coming back. And Sam is at the hospital. Silas walks up, asks her if she needs a doctor, blah, blah, blah. Just duh, like, because it's so fucking predictable. Anyway, Sabrina and Patrick are in the hospital room trying to get it in. I have to say something about Sabrina. I did something I said I would never do again after what happened with Dr. Ewan Keenan. I said I would never underestimate a new character that came on this show, because they may have intentions. I don't trust Sabrina. I really don't. I'm starting not to. The reason why, she has a past that we don't really know about, so anything can come out later. We don't know her true intentions. We don't know what she's all about, who her family really is. We don't know a damn thing about this woman. For all we know, she could be working with Dr. Obrecht. We don't know what the hell's going on. She said that she was a cousin of Juan Santiago. Now, for those who are not familiar with Juan Santiago, he is the son of Lily Rivera Corinthos, Sonny Corinthos' first wife, who died in a car bomb in 1996. And Juan Santiago is the former stepson of Sonny Corinthos. She said, Sabrina said, that her ex-boyfriend was a little controlling, so that may come into play. For all we know, she could be a Jerome member. She could be a part of the Jerome crime family, for all we know. So she's telling Patrick to get a paternity test, sweating him about getting a paternity test, and tells him that Brad got a blood sample from BRITT when they were at the apartment, and it should be in the lab. So they want to do this completely off the books. They don't need her consent to do this. Well, they just want to know if he's the father or not. So they go, before they go to the lab, I think Patrick needs to do this blood test. He definitely needs this blood test. He'd be a fucking idiot not to do this blood test. You gonna trust this trick? Are you serious? You don't know BRITT from a can of paint, and you're gonna trust her word that you're the father of this kid? I wouldn't trust it. So yeah, I would definitely get a blood test. Definitely. Ain't no question about it. I wouldn't trust the BRITT. You must be crazy. So they go, Ellie and Spinelli are down in the lab looking for that folder that Brad had on Dr. Westbourne. They can't find, well, they look in the same spot, but they waste so much time talking. They finally found the folder. They look in it, and there's no documents in it, just a post-it that said, pack your things and go. So Brad comes in and tells her that her ass is fired. But Spinelli stops him and tells him that he did not follow proper protocol for terminating somebody. So technically, Brad can't fire her, not until he go through the necessary channels. That means getting Monica Quartermaine to sign off on the termination, which is probably going to be difficult to do, because I don't see Monica firing Sabrina. So Sabrina still has her job temporarily. So Patrick and you know, Ellie is such a sneaky bitch. Not only was she looking in Maxie's files, now you're looking in Dr. Britt's files. You should have been fired. I don't really condone what she's doing, honestly. I don't like Britt, but still, you're still you're still a technician. You still have a job to do, and you still have protocols to go through. You still have the proper channels. And you going into somebody's medical records and stuff, you should have been fired. Seriously, she should have been fired. I don't agree with her techniques. She should have been fired. Patrick and Sabrina go down there and ask her to run a test, a DNA test. She was asking for Britt's consent forms, but they tell her that they think Brad is working with Sabrina. So, of course, Ellie has no problem breaking the law. So she decides to say, fuck it, and run the test anyway without the proper consent papers, because Patrick just wants to know if he's the father or not. And Felix comes in or whatever, because I guess he was trying to distract Brad. And of course, Felix is definitely on board with this. Back at the apartment, Taylor comes home rather late from her date with TJ after having some sex in the back of the limo. And she snoops her ass in, and Felix catches her and asks her where the fuck she was. She tell him to come rub her feet. He was like, I am not going nowhere near your stank ass feet. I was like, I fell on the floor. I was like, Felix is too much. And half the bottle of his vodka was drunk, of course, explains the flask that she had. And she tried to say she didn't drink it and try to blame that on Sabrina or Britt. I'm like, bitch, Britt is pregnant. But it wouldn't surprise me if Britt did drink it, her loony ass. So she told Felix to back off and not tell her parents, or she'll tell them all his secrets. I really think the secret is they don't know he's gay. Somebody said it's possible he could be her father instead of her brother. How would Taylor know that? How would Taylor know if Felix was her father instead of her brother? How would she possibly know that? And wouldn't his parents know this? I mean, they're the ones raising her. Wouldn't they know if Felix was really her father or not? So I highly doubt that. I think they don't know that he's gay. I don't think they know. It's obvious they don't know. Or it could be something else, but I don't know. I'm just going with the theory here. So Felix says forget it and goes to work. Britt likes the way Taylor thinks. Of course she would. So she asked her what did her and TJ do on their date, and she told him that they had sex. She thinks that this is the way she's going to keep TJ, and Britt is telling her this is not the way you're going to keep TJ. So Britt, of course, is offering her services to teach her some tricks on keeping TJ. Britt is a hot mess. Anyway, Brad comes over to Britt's place to give her that file with the documents in it. He goes to the bathroom and she's happy as a damn Cheshire cat. TJ is talking with Shawn about the date that he had with Taylor and Molly and Rafe kissing, and Shawn is trying to make him think maybe it wasn't, the kiss wasn't what you think. But TJ's not buying it, of course, and he tells him that he moved on with Taylor. And then he tells him that they had sex. And Shawn was like, if y'all had sex, he just wished that TJ would have had sex with somebody that he really cared about, since it was his first time. TJ kind of gave him that look like, what the fuck are you talking about? That wasn't my first time. That's kind of the look that he gave him. So he told him about the drinking, and he was upset about that because he was like, this is the second time TJ has been drinking, and there will not be a third time. So he officially puts TJ on punishment. And then he asked TJ, did they use a condom? And TJ was like, yeah, they used a condom. He was like, well, at least you thought smart. You know what I mean? I agree. At least he was smart this time and used a condom. So it was definitely smart on his part. I feel like TJ, maybe he could do better. Maybe he shouldn't be with Taylor. But for right now, I'm kind of digging them being together. You know, she's a troublemaker, and, you know, maybe he needs that little spice in his life because Molly wasn't handling the job right. I don't know. I just at this point, I don't really want to see TJ back with Molly at this point. I honestly don't, because if they get back, it's obvious Molly is hung up on Rafe. It's obvious. So why put yourself back in that predicament and go with her? That's just stupid. Anyway, Tracy, Luke comes over to the Quartermaine mansion to tell her that he's going to the hospital to get his test results. She's happy about it because this is something that she's been pushing him to do, and he's been prolonging the situation forever. So he's finally decided to go ahead and do it. I'm happy for Luke. It's about time. So he goes to the hospital. Alexis meets up with them or whatever. She bumps into them at the hospital and tells them about Danny, you know. And Tracy said that, you know, Danny is a Quartermaine, so anything he needs, you know, she's willing to help, which I think was very big of Tracy and nice, because, you know, she never considered Jason a Quartermaine or his kids. So it's about time that she's finally thinking smart. I think Tracy does consider everybody a Quartermaine, but it's just her nature to be a bitch. So Alexis was asking why were they in the hospital, and at first Luke said to get some tests, you know, to see how if Lulu was doing okay. But Tracy covered for Luke and said that she was there for test results, and she asked Luke to come with her. I love the way Tracy still has Luke's back. No matter how pissed she gets at him, no matter how many times she cuts him out of her life, she always, you know, has his back, and I respect that. And happy for him. Anyway, today's episode, like I said, it was dry, boring. I can't wait for tomorrow because we get to see Sonny and Anna face off at the hospital, and that scene did look intense. I can't wait. I will see all of you later. Have a great day. See you later.